Good day, everyone. Let me first of all give praise to God Almighty for making this day a success. I want to especially recognize the alternate chairman here with me, Dr. Ode. Let me also recognize the vice chairman of the Kwara local government here with us, the chairman of Pelican Stars, the first female chairman of Pelican Stars from inception, and the president of Rovers Pelican Stars Supporters Club. You see what we are missing. You can hear that. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, I welcome you all to this occasion. Let me first of all thank God Almighty that we have a full house for this occasion. And I think this is the first time we will count a large number of persons coming for the unveiling of a tournament or a sport competition of this magnitude for the first time. I can vividly remember that last year we had about 21 persons. But today it's a full house where we're even missing chairs. Let me quickly take your memory down there about the history and the creation of Queen's Cup. The Queen's Cup is Her Excellency brainchild. It was an innovation, a vision, Her Excellency, according to her, she slept and God showed her that she should also develop sports. And that is the reason Her Excellency is so interested about Pelican Stars in particular. And how are we going to get more better players? She mentioned, for instance, Efewaneko, who is also close to Her Excellency, that she can remember vividly that Her Excellency, she as the wife of the governor, sponsored the Efewaneko for a particular program. And when she called me and told me that she wants to develop sports, the girl child, she came up with the Queen's Cup. We're looking for a kind of a name to give for that particular sport. So we came out with this one, the Queen's Cup. And Queen's Cup, by the grace of God, is a foundation. It's a foundation that has been put in place to cater for the less privileged. The less privileged, the aged, and the widows in Cross River State. By the grace of God, the second reading will be in the Cross River State House of Assembly, I think this month, March, to establish it as a foundation. So Queen's Cup is not all about sports. It's a charity organization that Her Excellency have been able to establish in Cross River State. But she's using the sport, to sell the image of the foundation. And how are we going to sell the image? We introduce sports, football in particular. For the past two editions, we introduced football, the Queen's Cup, which I think we can remember that states like Imo State, Akwa Ibom State, they took part in the maiden edition. And last year, we decided to make it locally to develop our own athletes. Just like the Niger Delta came up with this idea, which we supported 100%, to develop our own athletes in Cross River State. So the Queen's Cup this time around is basically for Cross Riverians here in Cross River State. And we use the first and second edition was football. This time around, we have been able to introduce more 7 sports to make it a 7-sport event. I want to recall that Cross River State still remains the first state that have organized a veteran sports festival. Prince Otu Veteran Super League. So we want to be the first, to also come up with this kind of a program that for the first time in Nigeria, we are organizing a sport event or tournament or championship basically for the girl child. This is the first of its kind. There's no state that have organized this, and we are the first. So the program of today is a very brief one. We want to intimate the public about the activities of Queen's Corps and how we are going about it. It's very short and it's very simple for us to understand that Queen's Cup is not all about who wins at the end of the day, but it's all about the productivity of our athletes, the discovery of athletes. You can remember that the Niger Delta, they emphasize on our own indigenous athletes. So Queen's Cup is that foundation where we want to use, to be as a feeder to Niger Delta and the National Sport Festival and even the intermediate uh, games that will be coming sometime this year. So the Queen's Cup now is a feeder to all these sports. It's a foundation and a feeder to every other sports event that the Nigerian Federation will be organizing. And while we are here, Her Excellency have sent somebody to be here with us to know what we are doing here. And I want us to know that Her Excellency have decided to invest more in Queen's Cup this year than last year. For the first time in the history of Cross River State, last year, the second edition of Queen's Cup, we appointed ambassadors. There was no tournament like that until we will always be the first, then other will copy us. We appointed ambassadors, and I think one of the ambassadors is here, Honorable Kajen. Please. So this year, in addition to that, we have been able to appoint one ambassador. We are looking forward to appointing more other ambassadors to make the event a more elaborate one and an eye-catching one. We have Majesty, who is already appointed this year. This is the only ambassador we have appointed this year. Majesty works with the Sparkling FM. She is a sport presenter. And she deserves to be an ambassador of Queen's Cup. Because from my emergence as the chairman of Sport Commission, Majesty have never stopped talking about Sport Commission. Because she told me that she likes good things. And what she's saying, she's so satisfied and happy that is coming from this Sport Commission. So we decided to honor her with that appointment to also help us to sell the image of Sport Commission to the world. And I want to particularly thank Collins, who is my media aide, for all the assistance he has been rendering to us as a commission. We are so happy. And the chairman of SWAN, who have not, who stop at nothing to make sure that he gives a good image to the sport commissions and the activities. He was with us in Edo and he saw what we did. I want us to know that the man seated here as the chairman of sport commission was the most popular sport commission chairman in Edo. Most popular. We had 7 sport commission chairmen and 2 sport commissioners, but I was the most popular. I was the only person that was not using tap because it was announced. Others would come and fight to go inside, but I was not using tap.